Hey everybody, Slev here, and welcome to How It's Made. This is the series on how I make my music, and I'll describe how I make it, and yeah. Last episode I ended up doing From Water to Wine. This time I'm going to be doing Glass Lotus, which is going to be a little harder to explain, because this one is the song that I made over a little over a year and a half ago. Maybe about 2 years ago, actually. So, yeah, let's just get into it. Like I said last time, I'm using GarageBand, and I'll just be explaining as I go along. So, yeah, here we go. Before I play the music, I should explain what the idea behind it was. This whole piece, I had the idea of making a percussion ensemble, because I was in percussion class. I wanted to make a percussion ensemble for my very last concert for my senior year of high school. Go out on a bang, done and done, right? Well, at the same time, I wanted to make a rock metal rendition of it, and while I was composing and arranging the percussion ensemble piece, I was also adding little bits and sprinkles of rock and metal into both this version and the percussion ensemble. So I was kind of feeding ideas off of both. I first made the very first lick that you're about to hear in just a little bit in maybe the start or middle-ish of my junior year of high school. And I only made this first little lick together. This whole green spot right here, that was all made together. And then off of that, I branched if I wanted to have that as my introduction, or if I wanted to have that as my chorus, or anything like that. You'll discover more and more information later on in this video, but here's what I got going on first. I'll show you. This was about like week or two's progress of just this one lick. So. Okay. Now, originally I wanted some kind of, in the original score of the percussion ensemble, I wanted a marimba to assist the piano. I had marimba both doing just eighth notes, not like whole notes, what the guitar is doing, not sustaining them. It's doing like quarter notes, or I can't remember much, but I think it was quarter notes or accented eighth notes, like da 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 da, or something like that, just to assist, maybe add a little flavor to the piano. And alongside in this recording, like I said, we got the guitars, and then we have these delicate bells. Later on, when I was getting into the final stages of recording this song, I ended up getting a MIDI controller, and I ended up recording little bits and pieces of like the delicate bells and the drums. And there was a little option on my thing to set the tempo. Well, I wanted to take a little inspiration from A Perfect Circle and their most recent album, from recording this right now. I think it was maybe on one of their songs called Talk Talk, I think. They added this kind of heavy ringing of this bell in the background, and I really, really liked that sound. Well, on my thing, I could just tap the tempo like really, really high, and I did that, and it sounded really freaking cool. and I thought maybe a swell, like oh my god, something's about to happen, kind of like tensing. It's just very, very tense moment. And I wanted to back that up with the swell of the cymbal. So just to isolate this real quick, let's go ahead and listen to the bells. Now I can't. It just increases via volume, not velocity. So, and that goes hand in hand with the cymbal swell right here. So yeah, I mean that's about it for the very first intro. So moving right along into the very first riff or section that you guys hear, let's go ahead and play it and I'll explain it. So I thought of this this whole lick on the piano. The ba-da-da, 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 ba-da-da. I thought of that whole thing on piano, and I wasn't able to do it fully until I had this the idea put down on the DAW with the guitars and the drums and whatnot. Because I wanted this call and response. I wanted the ba ba da da ba ba da da ba ba da da ba, and I couldn't do that myself on the piano. Now I can. I figured it out, but at the time I wanted to put it on the DAW and see what it sounded like, and then push comes to shove, this becomes the next section, which to me sounded very appropriate for this this little section of the song. So I wanted something very powerful, very maybe not triumphant, but it's like I'm standing my ground, I'm here and I'm gonna stay here kind of feeling. So that's what I got from this little section. So there's that. And the the rhythm guitars, they're not really doing much. They're kind of just like providing the foundation of the little riff that's happening. The ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da. And what all they're doing is just chugs. So, not really much happening there. But on top of that is the melody with just the lead guitar right now. There's like 2 or 3 or 4 lead guitars. I can't remember how many, but so on top of that should be this little lick. So there's that, and usually, like I said the last time, what I like to do is I like to octavize things to make it sound more full, covering more of the frequency spectrum. So the next thing I did, octavize that, and then next thing I did right here, octavize that. By itself, this track alone doesn't really sound too clean, and I wish I could, oops, I wish I could, hang on, I apologize. Whoopie whoopie, there we go. Aha, there you are. Very sorry about that. Yeah, as I was saying, this part in particular doesn't really sound too clean, so I kind of had the idea in mind just to keep it in here for flavor. Also, I was tapping this so it didn't sound too dot dot dot. It didn't sound too articulate. It kind of just sounds like blah 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 blah. So I decided to use it for flavor as I moved along with the song, and I figured out that this was probably the best way. I didn't want it to sound too the whole time, too attacky. So yeah, here's what it sounds like. Kind of sounds a little wimpy, I won't lie. But yeah, on top of that, there is the vibes doing that. Here's what they sound like. There's that, and then I got the grand piano assisting the vibes and the guitars up here. So, yep, got that going, and that's basically how I got the whole foundation set. So, yeah. Do that, add some rock drums, bam, you got a rock song. Yeah, so, alright, there we go. Moving along. We got the next section coming up. I wanted some kind of, at this point in time, I wanted some tribal feel in, not in this arrangement, but the percussion ensemble arrangement. Now, the percussion ensemble arrangement, it has the drums doing, it's kind of playing it on the toms, instead of having the what's in here. Instead, it's playing it on the toms and the snare, so it has this tribal, and I sound stupid, I sound crazy right now, but that's what I had in the original thing, and I think it worked really well with the arrangement in a live setting with a bunch of pitched percussion and whatnot. In this, I wanted to pick the right drum beat for this this section and the song, with the genre being rock and metal and whatnot. So yeah, I chose this, and here's a swell again. Here's this. So yeah, this little section I ended up coming up with just from going from the 5 in the scale, just going 5, 1, 2, 3, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just going 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going back up and down. And I was like, okay, yeah, this could work. And I'm like, what else can I do with this? So I ended up reaching up into the higher octave register, and I got the da-da-da-da-da. And I was trying to figure out a way to put that in, as well as the, oh man, what is that? Oh crap, the G flat. The G flat in there, the da. So I figured out like I could do the da ba da ba da ba da ba 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 ba, and I liked that little riff, or that kind of groovy kind of feeling, but I didn't like how it was so just there and obvious. So I wanted to take that and put it on its head, and what I ended up doing in the end was turning this into a 4/4/3/4 section. So I got this going like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was kind of like a what the hell's happening? I'm so disoriented kind of thing. And then once the whole beat hit in, that was kind of like, oh, I'm familiar with this now. I'm gonna chill here. So here's when the beat comes in. So yeah, this section alone right here that was made all on the piano. I liked the da 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 da, and I did that every single time for like the percussion ensemble arrangement. I did that every single time. That's always in the piano. That's what the piano's doing. This time I have the guitars doing it, which in my head at the time was like super. What the hell am I even thinking of? Like, this arrangement's not going to work whatsoever. And in the end, it did. So I decided to finger around on the guitar, see what notes I could come up with. Long story short, came up with that little beat, or that little thing, with the first lead guitar just doing the da da ba da ba da ba da ba ba da, and that was the lick on its own without the da 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 da, the little harmony. So I just left that and then had the harmony come in later, as you can hear from this. Yeah, so yeah, there's that. Let me explain what the rhythm guitars are doing. It's very like fast, genty, very attacky, articulate kind of guitar playing. I can't promise how articulate, but here's what I got going on. So very fast 16th notes with the palm mute and the up strum, very heavy kind of genty vibe. And that's basically it, along with bass. The bass is just doing its thing. It's just assisting like it should. Just doing its thing. I'm not really going to touch up on the bass much, just because it's just going to be there assisting the whole time. So yeah, that's basically that whole section until it gets to, I think, oh, here it is. So right here, I wanted some kind of bridge into a repeat of this section to make it like a, oh, okay, I'm kind of comfy, and now we're back here. Kind of like a, oh shit, here we go again kind of thing. So that's what I did. I made sure it was 4/4, so it had that, I'm kind of comfortable, I'm kind of there, kind of feeling. And that's what I did with here, kind of uplifting a little bit, but not really, so I chose this chord progression. And as you heard, it just goes right back. So, yeah, here's what happens next. So it just keeps going, keeps going. Okay, so here's that little lick again. And then it goes into this, this kind of rip-off, but not really rip-off of Through the Fire and Flames. Keep in mind, high school student, wanting to be very stupid, thinking of outrageous ideas. I'm like, hey, why not just throw a Through the Fire and Flames Easter egg in the song? And I was talking to one of my friends about that, and they're like, okay, that's a dumb idea, but you should try it anyway. I did it, and it fit perfectly. So I did that, but again, I put my own little spin on it. Again, I'm not plagiarizing, but and then I have this kind of same thing feeling again, slightly uplifting, slightly not. The da 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 da. I figured that out, that little harmony out, like later in the progress of this song, but that's kind of just pointless. It's just there to add flavor. Yeah, the guitars, again, very genty, articulate. Just there to add some nice little touch. That's all it really is there for. Add some foundation along with the bass. And along with the along with the Through the Fire and Flames little lick, I have it going on the piano and the guitar, and it repeats once right here and then twice the second time. I wanted to do that for some reason, and I couldn't tell you, but I feel like it just fits so well, where it's just like, oh, here we go. Oh, here we go again. Okay, and now we're back here. I don't know. I kind of just thought that was a really good idea. So, or it fit the song. So I did that, and alongside that, I added vibes to make it sound very, very whole, very full, I guess. So. And like I said earlier, I like to octavize things, fill out the spectrum a little bit. And yeah, so going on. Before I touch this section, the idea behind what I wanted to do, or how I wanted to carry that, at the time I thought there's no way in hell I'm going to carry this. Like, this is where the song's going to stop and I'm just going to give up. Like, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to finish this song. And then I'm like, you know what? Let's just do something completely outrageous and do this really fast 16th lick. And let's do it. And I'm thinking, for this, I'm thinking the arrangement, the percussion ensemble arrangement. And I'm thinking, okay, how are we going to do this? So let's just do a really fast run on 16ths. And I'm trying to figure this out on piano. I'm like, what the hell am I even doing at this point? And I'm just thinking back and forth, like, maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't. And I'm like, screw it, let's just do it, see what happens. And I come up with this this lick that goes up, down, and then up on the scale itself. And I'm in C sharp minor in this song, so this whole song is kind of a pain in the ass to read anyway. So with the with the run in mind, I wanted to do it on marimba only at the very start. But the more and more that I tried the lick, the more and more I'm like, they're gonna spend this whole time on this one lick and they're not gonna know the rest of the song. Like, this lick is just so freaking hard at this speed. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's go with the flow. Let's not try to fight this. Let's like put this in a musical way. So I'm like, how about one part of this is on marimba, the other part of this is on vibes. So I split it, ba-da-da-da, 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 and at the very end of the 4/16 notes, I put both marimba and vibes. So it would go ba-da-da-da, 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 ga-da-da-da-ga. So it'd be like a cool thing. In the end, I mean, it kind of worked out, but the run was it was decent. It was decent. It could have been better, but yeah, in my mind I was thinking, that is such a freaking awesome idea. This is gonna sound so amazing, and it did. It sounded great in the final product. The percussion ensemble and this arrangement, because I kind of carried that idea over. I'm like, you know what? Since I know I'm gonna keep this on guitar, why don't I just like mess around with it on guitar? Like, like instead of doing it marimba vibes marimba, or like electric guitar pitched percussion guitar or something like that. How about I just keep it all on guitar, but screw with the how you're gonna listen to it. Like, maybe add some reverb, or maybe add some panning or something like that. And I ended up going with the panning. So on the introduction to that little run, I automated some panning, as you can see right here, and the guitars do this. So keep an eye on these right here, and I think you can hear that too. Within this video actually. So actually going into the run this time, I'll actually isolate it for you. Here's what it sounds like, and it's also I think hard left and hard right on the lick. So here it is. So yeah, and at the oh, I forgot to sorry, I forgot to isolate these. So oopsie, wrong one. There we go. Okay, so here it is. Actually, sorry. So, and that's just octavized, you know, make it sound full, yada yada yada. So this part, this is going to sound crazy, but in the percussion ensemble, this part right here wasn't as it's written in the metal rock version. It was written originally as a clockwork style kind of thing, like a kind of like dreamy, and it had like little bells, and it had this very flowy kind of feeling. Like it was very easy to lose yourself in, like kind of hypnotic in a way. This, on the other hand, is completely the other way. It's a build-up. This is a build-up into a huge drop. And this idea was, it came to me kind of instantly, even though it's a very simple, it's just a simple idea, because this part, all it is just the triad. It's the C sharp triad, 5-3-1. That's all it is, and it's doing the same thing with the, what is it? A sharp? I don't know. I can't remember. The major, the very next major in the scale. I can't remember what it is, but here's what it sounds like. Again, it's the same triad. So here's what it is. Not 5-3-1, but you know what I mean. It's not in this section 5-3-1. This section 5-3-1. I'm getting too into it. Moving on. There's this was kind of the lose yourself point in the thing. In the percussion ensemble version, I didn't have the little thing of the Through the Fire and Flames lick again. I didn't have that in the percussion ensemble. This was this? Yeah. So the Vibes had the Through the Fire and Flames lick, as well as the hard saw reverby synth right here. But if I mute those real quick, is it M? Yeah, it's M. Okay. If I mute those, you'll hear the it'll remind you most likely of Stranger Things. So, oh. Sorry. So, yeah. So there's that, and then I wanted to add this little flavor of like, oh, yeah, this is still in the song. I can remember this. I know what this is. And the note structure ended up working so well with this, I had to leave it in. It just worked. And then the drop is this bass drop. Obviously, it wasn't in the live version or the percussion ensemble version because we didn't have a bass drop instrument. We didn't have that kind of thing. I was excuse me, I was debating on adding bass guitar to this song in the original, or the percussion ensemble, but I didn't. So yeah, I ended up using a lot of bass marimba, and that kind of cleared it up a little bit. But yeah, so moving on, the drop right here. Again, 5-3-1, 5-3-1. I didn't harmonize it in the percussion ensemble version though. It's literally the same thing, just dropped, and it sounds epic. It sounds like this huge full sound with just this huge release, and at the same time, this section is supposed to act as another build-up, and it does it at the end of this thing. So, or at the end of this section. So, at the very start, you hear this harsh attack with this release. And then it's like kind of taking you somewhere, and then there's a huge build-up right here. Build-up, building. And then we have another build-up in the drums. That build-up in the drums is, I was working on some linear fills, and I ended up coming up with that. And I thought that was a really cool sound, and so I added that. And the drop, I was like, what do I want the main thing to be? So I'm like, you know what? This reoccurs in a bunch of popular music all the time. How about I just take the intro sound and put it as my chorus and make it something epic? And that's exactly what I did, and it sounded phenomenal. So, so here's what that sounds like. And then this is just a new part. Kind of. It was kind of that idea of the ba-da-da, but it was slowed down immensely, like half, maybe, something like that. And I wanted to, but when I did that, I couldn't take it anywhere, so I wanted to take it somewhere, and I ended up coming up with this droned melody. As stupid as that sounds, it's like it's droned, but it's still taking you somewhere. I don't know. I find it pretty cool. And then that I want to call it something like it haunts. It's like a haunting tone or haunting note to end on right there, because it's like, oh my God, what's gonna happen next? Like, am I safe? Am I not? So I had this little idea, and then at this point in time, I'm thinking, what the hell could I even possibly imagine that could come next? And I thought, and this was like part way of where I wanted to, like, I had the feeling of like, oh my God, I'm actually going through with this. This is actually going to happen. And I ended up coming up with an idea of a piano solo that I would play. And this piano solo took me forever to write, but I ended up writing it, and it sounded great. And I feel like this little build-up with that little ghost, not an actual ghosted note, but like this ghost, or this haunting note is what I meant to say, sorry. This note that I ended up leaving on right here, having somewhere like so tense, where the hell could I possibly go next, ending up in the arms of a piano. Like, where is that expected at all? And I felt like it's so like comforting, yet so like I want to keep my guard up. I don't know, but like am I safe? Should I keep my guard up still? So that's where I went from this note to this little shimmer of light, I guess. So that's how that happened. You don't really need to hear the whole thing. What I do want to skip to is this part. Sounds shitty without the sustain on it. So right here, this isn't in the original percussion ensemble whatsoever. I added a string ensemble. I added that, and then I added heavy tribal-ish drums, and you'll see that in just a second. So this, I wanted to have something like something sneaking up on me, but I can't tell what it is vibe, and that's how I got the strings in there. So listen to this real quick. It's like something's lurking, but it's slightly comforting, especially right here. It's like it's like so like taunting, like it's so hard to describe. It's like you want this is exactly the feeling that I wanted to go for. This is why I chose this chord progression, especially in this area, was because I wanted a spot where it was like, I slightly feel safe in your arms, but I'm keeping my guard up, and I see a little shimmer of light. Like, it's calling to me, but I don't know if I want to go there. And I sound completely freaking stupid like talking like this, but this is exactly the sound that I wanted to go for, and this is what I got in the end. And then this is like the mission of like, oh my god, let's go. Like, I want to get to this light. I need to be safe again. I need to be held. Like, I don't know. This is exactly the feeling of what I got right here, especially in this building, this build-up. This giant release, the biggest release in the song. And this whole thing is like, it's like, I made it, finally. It's so triumphant, and it's like I want to cry. I'm so happy that I made it. So, and it's like, I'm so sad, yet I'm so happy, like I left that behind me, yet I made it. Finally, I made it. This song, originally, the idea behind it, the song was supposed to be like a, something that I'd just play, go out on a bang, and finish my high school career in. And that's what the idea was. And that's what it still is. That's basically what it was, but over the time of making this song and actually performing it and whatnot, I wanted to make this song my story. Not needless to say, per se is what I mean. I wanted to make it a story that I could tell from my heart without saying anything whatsoever. I wanted it to be wordless. I wanted it to just be felt. I didn't want it to be understood. I wanted it to be just, I wanted it to be in an atmosphere. To be just felt and breathed, I guess. Listened to. I don't know, I sound crazy with this, but going on with this, the technicality behind it, the guitars, with the foundation of the guitars, here's what I got. It's literally just the power chord, and I played this in drop C sharp. Every now and again adding that that adds like a little flavor or a little like unison to the octave to emphasize that one little set of note. So it's like something specific that you just catch a blip of. You know what I mean? Kind of, maybe. I don't know. This whole section I thought of on the piano. And I wanted it to be super simple, yet super emotional, and super, I guess, just felt, like I explained earlier. And with the root note playing, like octaves, this is what I had, like octave, fifth octave, I'm pretty sure, with this pattern happening right here. But, like, less harsh and, like, played on piano keys. Imagine that. Well, that's how I thought of that, but I'm like, okay, how am I going to play this on guitars? Originally, I thought of these things just being on one guitar, just the octave chords. Well, it turns out that was super hard to play, with, like, back and forth, like, da, 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 and especially with, like, sustaining them, too. It would just hurt my pinky, hurt my pointer. That's how I play my octave chords, by the way. I use my pinky, not my ring. But yeah, so that's how I figured that out. I was like, okay, how about I just cut it in half, use two guitars. This is most likely not going to be performed anyway, the metal version, rock version, whatever you want to call it. It's not really going to be performed anyway, so I can just do this. And that's what came out, and actually that's what I like most about it, is that it just sounds clean. It doesn't sound like I'm trying too hard or anything like that. And so here's the piano. The piano's not really doing much. Again, it's just assisting, adding flavor. This is essentially what I would play on the actual piano. Essentially. Again, bass is just adding flavor. We got the swell, and we got a hell of a ton of synth right here. So let's go through that real quick. First of all, let's show you the drum set. Super simple. Heavy compression. That seems to be a theme in rock and metal music. With that, there's epic cloud formation and epic rift. Basically, these are just supposed to be grand, like, super, I guess in their words, epic, as it's supposed to be, like this super, super big, thick tone, as well as the, we got a sub bass going on, layered on top of a bass. I thought that wasn't going to be a good idea, but they both had different tones, so I was like, screw it, let's add it, why not? So here's what that sounds like. Oh, and a bass drop. So we just have the whole melody going on. Oh, and then we got vibes, and then we got delicate bells. Oh, and the string ensemble in the background. So there's a bunch of reverb, a bunch of very epic sounding instruments, as well as very sustained instruments to make it long-lasting, as if the feeling of finally making it there is actually going to last for a while. And at the very end of this, we have this fade, and this little blip right here. This was an accident, and it sounds fantastic. Can't stress that enough. This. It's like a little, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a final, like I'm still here, but I'll be safe. I'm good. I'm fine. I don't know. I'm not here, but I'm here kind of thing, feeling. I don't know. It's really, really hard to describe. Moving right along, the very, very, very end, finally, of the song. Very emotional piano where it's like everything is safe and sound. I'm finally whole. I'm finally safe. I can finally tell my story and feel like it's all over. Like, it's really hard to explain, but like I've said the past 5-6 times, here's what it sounds like. I'll go ahead and let this one play through. And there's a little sprinkle at the end. It's like, thank freaking God, I'm done. Yippee. So yeah, basically, over time I wanted this song to have its own story arc, to be felt rather than told. You know what I mean? So yeah. And alongside that, we also got a shite ton of automation. A lot of automation that basically kind of just makes the song sound the way it does. Makes the balance not have that many issues, as well as automation in the background that you can kind of see in some tracks, right here, that that also include panning with reverb and just like volume, reverb, panning, velocity is one of them. I edited that one to hell and back. That one was awful, dreadful. But yeah, so I mean, that's how it's made. There it is. This video went on for like 45-ish minutes, so might as well stop it here while I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys didn't make it this far, which is fine, but if you like this video, hit the like button. Support by subscribing, maybe sharing this to a friend, commenting, whatnot. Really helps me out a lot. I'll go ahead and link the actual song in the description below. And yeah, so yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.